Holy smokes, everyone's lining up here. Yeah, there was a massive delay with the whole setup situation with everything, but how is it going, everyone? Nicholas Pinotti, see you next time. Sorry about that. Simon Gordon, I believe you are still here, maybe, and my mom's here, and that is it. So, what do we have today? We have a very, very weird device by a company that only makes e-paper products. This is the Dasung MING. It's next level kind of unnecessary if you think about it, because what it is the internal workings of a lighting system inside an ebook reader, but outside the ebook reader. So it really does leave you wondering, well, why is it here? And what we're going to do is grab a couple things and try this out. All right, so what do we have here? Hey, Stephen Prosser, what's going on? So we have a Kindle here. Now, let's pretend for a minute that this Kindle doesn't have a glow light. That's fair, right? All right, put that over there. Let's get rid of all this fun stuff. What would happen if this Kindle didn't have a glow light? Well, let's turn off the light. It's daytime here, so it's not going to do much, but bear with me. Say I wanted to illuminate this, and all I had was my Dasung MING. Well, I would turn it on. Can't really tell when it's turned on or not. One moment. All right, let's plug it in because we need some batteries. There we go. So, here it is. Now watch this. That makes the e-reader look absolutely awful. And why that is because you can only use this one way. It needs to be used this way. And let's do a half and half to see what we're looking at with it on and with it off. The attributes I see with it completely off of the e-reader, remember this is the no glow light right now. This is harder to read than that. Granted, it's daytime. I understand that. At night, there'd be no question because it's easier to use because you can't see things that don't have light at night. So, this thing is very big, it's very clumsy, and it's highly reflective. You see my camera right there, which is the top shot camera in the reflection. But if I remove that, you won't see it anymore because naturally it's a matte screen. And again, you have to make sure it's not like that because then it just completely deafens the experience. They have these little individual particles that light up that almost look like sand. And by doing so, it makes everything look bad. I was trying to come up with a reason. There really is no reason for that. I'm not sure why they would do that. Maybe to not have a completely flat piece of glass, but I mean, that doesn't do any good anyways because you can see the full reflection. Now, if you did have a glow light, like so, this is what it would look like. I have a glow light. What this is this outside of this? Let me explain. Inside this ebook reader is a panel connected by a little flex cable, maybe here, maybe there, depending on the manufacturer. There are then LEDs around the bezel, either here, 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 or a combination of two of them that shine light on the situation. That is doing what this is doing. So they've taken that out, put this little piece of user interactable tangible casing and repackaged it and they sell it back to you when 99% of the e-readers out there already have that inside this. So given that Turn that back on. I'm not entirely sure where the Ming stands. It stands as a solution to a problem that nobody has anymore. Back in '09, this would have been the greatest thing ever because no e-readers had glow lights back in '09. There were only a handful. In fact, a couple, where you could count on one hand. Now, everybody has glow lights. Man, everybody has glow lights. What are you doing with this thing? So again, if we put this... oh yeah, I'm going to turn the glow light off. This is the signature edition, so it's got a light sensor. Glow light's off. That's on. Look at that. It does the job. It makes it light, but that's it. Also, this is an oil-free piece of glass, and yet, as you can see here, there are several fingerprints, and it's very, very stainy. Oil-resistant piece of glass. And we alcohol our hands before every shoot because we have a bag of alcohol wipes that we use before shoots and before live and stuff like that. And human fingertips have oils on them. So we make sure we get all that off. And even then, you can see it as clear as day. And when you do, it illuminates the fingerprints. See that? Because it shines through the device via the LEDs right there. You can see the LEDs right there. There's about 10 of them. And if the device is held at such an angle, although you're probably not going to hold it at an extreme angle, but if you do, it becomes unreadable because the entire thing gets all sandy. So really, I'm not sure where the Ming exists in this world. Again, it's a really good solution and a really good answer to a question that just simply no one has anymore. How do I light up my e-reader? That's not a very good question because it's not a concern. I don't have any books at my fingertips right now, but I have a video game manual. Now, say this was a book. You know what I mean? There's no latch. There's no... oh, hi, I'm in the reflection again. It makes it super reflective. There's no latch. There's no clasp. There's no clip. So it really just comes down to where you hold it. And watch this. This is what it actually looks like for me to hold this book, quote unquote. Watch this. Oh, I have to turn pages. Oh, I can't see this because it's dark out, right? Let's say it's dark. Oh, cool. Oh, got to turn pages. Everything you see on screen right now must be executed properly for you to be able to read this. That's what needs to be done. This isn't going to magically move over to the next page. You got to do it. You have to hold it. You have to hold the sides. And it's a very low screen to body ratio because there's no bezels. So say you hold it like that. Well, then the book's flapping, so you have to support the back or hold it at the top and have an overhang. It's so unwieldy at the same time as being inconvenient that I just don't know where it stands in the industry. Now, let's be completely fair. It's well built. This is well built. It's a great concept. It's packaged beautifully. It's got nice materials. Has USB-C charging. Feels good to the touch. It's made out of tempered glass, so it's not going to shatter into gigantic shards and come down on you like the guy at the end of Ghost. Carl. Remember that? Good movie. And it's got some user controls in that you can make it brighter or darker. And it's completely see-through. And you can brighten it up. There you go. You can brighten it up. It's really nice. I think it's well built. There's no question it's well built. Because it is. It's objectively true. It's built very well. But then it goes into the question, what are you going to use it for? And that's to illuminate your books. To illuminate your e-readers that already have illumination. And the thing about it all is that if this was $19.99, everybody and their mom would be lining up at the doors to get one of these. What a great deal. What a great deal at $19.99. But this is over $100 US. Did you hear that? This is over $100 USD. Hey, Brian, what's up? The fact that it's not a $10 bill Daiso dollar store find makes you really scratch your noggin. You're like, well, can I do anything else? As the answer is no. Oh, I think it just ran out of batteries. I'm not even joking. Yeah, it did. That's another thing. We didn't charge this for 2 weeks since we did the review, but it ran out of batteries and it was off. We turned it off because it's a hazard to have devices on around here. So we turned it off. And it ran out of batteries while it was off. So there's the Ming, everybody. That's the Dasung Ming. And I hope you enjoyed it. We have a review on it. It's a well-built product that I highly... I don't want to recommend it. I don't want to recommend it because that's not true. I don't want to recommend it. I was going to say I highly recommend it if you don't have a glow light. Because if you don't have a glow light, you can spend $4 on AliExpress and just get a book light. You can spend a couple pennies and even get a clip-on light that clips onto the bottom of your Kindle that doesn't have a glow light, goes into the USB at the same time, and I don't have anything around me, but it would look like that. You know what I mean? It would like, you know, adjustable glow light. You could go like that, or like that, or like that, or like that, and it would illuminate the screen. So there it is. That's the whole kit and caboodle. And that's it. What is going on outside of that, everyone? Let's see. We have a bunch of stuff on the run. I believe we just wrapped up a huge, long, overbloated series on the next paper stuff. The next paper, which actually in retrospect would have been a much better idea to do than this one, but that's the way it goes. The next paper is coming up next week, and we have the next paper 12 in the house to do. And that thing is, again, a little bit of a weird kind of hodgepodge of a device because it's just an LCD screen, but the entire thing says, you know, well, at least the 11 did. The entire thing is saying, like, oh, it's e-paper. It's an e-paper alternative, and it's not. It's not even reflective like an iMu or a Hisense Q5. So, you know, that we've seen... You know what I think it is? I don't think there's anything wrong with the industry of e-paper because it's bigger than it's ever been, and it's growing faster with more players than it ever has. It's been hyper competitive. But I think it's that a lot of companies in general, Dasung, are running out of ideas. Dasung's been struggling with ideas recently. At the same time, they've been killing it. Let me explain. On one side, they have the Dasung, this is the monitor now, okay? They have a color, 25-inch color Kaleido e-paper monitor that's coming up. It's really nice. It's going to be standing up like that. It's got a little thing. Amazing. Then they got the Ming. I don't know, and I doubt that the Ming is funding the monitor because I just don't see the sales figures on this. But they're trying new things. You guys remember the A4, which was just a rebranded Sony, except worse, with a Dasung logo on it. Trying new things. You guys remember the Dasung Link that mimicked your cell phone, but you needed your cell phone. And if someone stole that thing, and they're like, hey, I got all your stuff. It's like, oh, I can just disconnect. But I just lost out $500. But they're trying things. So we found that a lot of these companies, even iFlyTech and iReader and all these guys, they're at least trying new things. Because I believe ebook readers, in terms of saying like an Onyx, like an e-note, not an e-note, an Android tablet with an e-paper screen, they're kind of maxed out. If we've seen things like the Big Me stuff, the Onyx stuff, it's like they have everything on a Big Me. They got fingerprint sensor, they got SD card, they have SIM card, they have built-in 4G, they got a laser pointer on the thing, they got 4 microphones, they got speakers up the yin-yang. I mean, there isn't anything else you can put on it. What are you putting on it? 8 cores of processor? They have that. You know? 512 MB storage? I mean, lots of them have that, and they have terabytes of expandable memory. And then you say, well, what about like glow lights? Well, they have double glow. They have 2 different degrees of glow light, cold and warm. And they have light sensors and daytime sensors. So they have all that. Even the Kindle has that. So I just think, like, I believe these companies are just trying to try new things, which is why the Ming exists in the first place. So what they did was they took existing technology that is within this and they ripped it out, saw the cables dangling, and they're like, oh yeah, well, let's put this thing here. Oh, cool. Cables ain't dangling no more. And then they packaged it up and sold it back to you. Look how fingerprinty that is. I just alcoholed my hands. I'm going to grab this microfiber cloth here. There we go. Yeah, clean that up. And yeah, I just think like these companies are really trying new things. Big Me tried some new stuff by creating a fighter brand. Onyx is trying new things by getting into monitors. Philips entered the market without thinking or even considering e-readers or e-notes or Android tablets. All they're doing is monitors. So really, yeah, I think I can see why, now that I've talked about it with you guys, I can see why something like this would exist in our industry. I get it. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. And you know what's something that we haven't seen for a while? Are e-ink smartphones. Because we saw them with Hisense. Hisense is still going strong. No, they haven't closed up shop. I don't know where that rumor came from. Onyx tried with the Palma, but it didn't actually have an earpiece, so you couldn't use it as a smartphone. You could use it as a smartphone where you couldn't hear anything, like with data messaging and stuff like that, but it didn't actually have an earpiece. So that's why it exists. That's my point, is that to spin it in a positive light, it is built well, and I get it. I get where it came from. It came from a company that undoubtedly is the biggest risk taker in the industry right now. Dasung is anything but a company that plays it safe. They do not play it safe. Even when they wanted to make e-readers, they called their devices not an e-reader. It's called the not e-reader because they didn't want it to be confused with ebook readers, because they're like, no, we're not making e-readers. And they made like 12 freaking monitors, all 3 Paperlikes with sub-variants like the Pro, Pro with front light, Pro without front light, touch panel, the Dark Knight edition, and now this gigantic 253 and the 253 with color. So they've made a ton of products. The A4 Risk Taker, Link Risk Taker, Ming Risk Taker. So they definitely have done their part in trying as much with e-paper as they could, as they can, as anyone can. Because companies just play it safe all the time. One of the safest players in the scope is Barnes & Noble. They don't do anything outside of the normal. Even at least Kobo and Amazon in the recent 24 months, 30 months have released the Ellipsa and the Scribe respectively, 2 Ellipsas, and the Sage, which all have note-taking. Yeah, it's active capacitive, but it still has note-taking. So, yeah, Barnes & Noble is an example of one of the safest players in the game. They don't do anything outside of the norm. E-book readers only. And they're like, oh, maybe we'll do a 3.5 mil headphone jack. Oh, I'm sorry. But they did, and it turned out great. So what do we see with the big 3 is that, yeah, mostly they're not risk-taking companies. Same with Big Me, same with Onyx, not real risk-taking companies. They're about the middle ground. They just make their ebook readers and they make their Android, Google Play-enabled tablets of all different sizes. 7, 8, 7.8, 9, 9.7, 10.3, 10. You know what I mean? It's all over the scope. 13.3. And that's where the Ming comes from, is a company that decides to look outside the box, think outside the box, and actually execute a product that rips something out of a product and sells it back to you. That is the biggest takeaway we had from this, is that if you're skimming through the video or you're just joining us, this is this inside. They just tore it out, put on a JD AliExpress housing, sold it back to you. Like, here. It's like, I caught it. What is it? Yay. It's like, oh, it's a light. What do I do with it? Oh, you light things up. Oh, okay. Doesn't look very good. It's like, oh, turn it around. Oh, it's one way? Okay. Got to be careful about that. That was a big mistake. That was a huge mistake that they made this a one-way thing. At least eliminate the issue of having it be like a USB port. You know what I mean? You got, oh, I flipped it the wrong way. at least make it as the equivalent of a USB-C, where it's just, oh, it works no matter which way I hold it. No, they even allow you a 50-50 shot of being wrong when you're using the product that has no use. That was like the camel that broke my back, personally, was that as we were passing this around at the table before we started to roll, we noticed like, oh, it's awful. We were like, oh my God, I can't see anything. And then one guy flipped it, just unknowingly, and they're like, oh, it works one way. It's like, oh, this way is all the sand particles, and this is the way you use it. And there's no discerning features that tells you which way is what, because everything is just bone symmetrical. Look at that. Power buttons, charging, nothing's like upright. You know what I mean? Doesn't say this side up, this side down. And the box is, there's no cable. There's not even a USB cable. And there's actually no room for the USB cable in the box because it fits the housing. So to even charge the thing, they don't give you a cable to even charge it. Every possible step, every measurable metric from manufacturing to get this into your hand has been to make it as difficult to use as possible for a thing that doesn't even have any use to the first place. We love Dasung. We talk to them about this. We work with them. They're great. But we were just like, guys, come on. What are you thinking here? It's as weird as those like iFlyTech translator things that are $600. It's like, you can just never mind. And we didn't even, we know you'd touch about that. But anyways, guys, Dasung Ming, really cool product. They had it's just 20 years too late. Yeah, back in 04 when e-readers came out, this would have been that's the way. Anyways, guys, we're 21 minutes in. Sorry about the technical delays. If you lost whatever we were talking about, you can watch the VOD. And we're going to be wrapping this up. I believe we might keep this around for one of those kind of museum relic kind of pieces. It's not something we can give away. And it's open, so we can't sell it. We don't sell used garbage. And, yeah, that's just go on the shelf and wait till somebody in the future asks about a Ming, or maybe when we open up a good e-reader museum with the Entourage Edge and the iRiver story and like the one of the early Sony devices and the Fujitsu Flepia. We'll have all these weird ass e-readers lined up behind glass. Not even behind glass, maybe just on like little things you guys can play with it. Yeah. Might be interesting to open up a little kind of museum-y place. But anyways, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching something that no one can get much value out of. But we appreciate it all the same. Got to get back to it. Really appreciate you guys. Again, sorry for being late. There's a lot of things for a 2-camera setup. It's out of my expertise. It's a lot of the guys that handle all that, and OBS and streaming and live and the thumbnails and the microphone and the webcam setup. And sometimes when things try to connect to the YouTube server, it doesn't always take. So yeah, anyways, thanks to the usuals. Brian, the person reading this is awesome. Nicholas Pinotti, Stephen Prosman, my mom, and Simon Gordon, I believe, are the only people here today. But thank you so much. We will be here next week with the TCL Next paper to explain how something that is e-ink is not e-ink. Thank you.